Yeah, I've decided to have a rant today, and my rant's going to be about none other than TfL. No surprises there, huh? TfL plan to re-license a company that should fall foul of every discrimination order there is, and who also have committed technological theft from a subsidiary in Google, and have never put in provisions that would prevent a 50% increase in sexual assault crime committed by their drivers, domiciling itself in the Netherlands in order to avoid paying corporation tax here in the UK. You can't blame the corporations, can you? Because corporations such as Uber, no matter how parasitic, no matter how vile, no matter how psychopathic a corporation is, will always take their opportunity. And the government, well, when did we ever believe the government were philanthropists? If we ever did, then we were delusional, because governments have their own agenda. But TfL is supposed to be arbitrators of the law. They are not there to fulfil a corrupt government's bidding. TfL has failed in their remit to uphold statutory regulations. So I lay the blame firmly and wholly with TfL. You would think that 5 years in, they would realise why regulation is in place. But no, there's been a catastrophic fallout, hasn't there? There's been insurmountable accidents. There's been an inexorable rise in sexual assault crime. There's been an unprecedented level of revocation orders. And that is without doing any impact data on the detrimental effect on tens of thousands of individual lives and their families. So, what can we take from this? Deregulation only happens because the money men are involved, aren't they? Because you sure as hell know that if it was Asaf on the Kingsland Road with his 3 cars, then he wouldn't be able to affect deregulation proceedings, would he? Not a chance. Deregulation only happens when the third-party profiteers get involved. Contractors, outsourcing work, shareholders, squeezing costs in order to maximise profits. Another travesty from the liquid laws that flow from TfL headquarters is that they have never recognised the differential. That is, the knowledge of London. Because evidently, opportunists will always take the path of least resistance, won't they? TfL consistently say, and without hesitation, that the licensing process for private hire and rideshare is exactly the same as it is for taxi drivers. So the difference is with the knowledge is that it is a very stringent licensing process spanning 3 years that has done a very good job at sorting out the unsavouries. But instead of lauding that, instead of recognising endeavour over privilege, you have decided to succumb to the money men. The money men that haven't built growth with their business, they haven't built liquidity, they haven't built speed of growth. They've bought it, and now we are seeing the consequences and the fallout from it. Reinstate the distinction between taxi drivers, private hire and rideshare, because you have embedded those drivers on the back of licensed taxi drivers. You have legitimised them, you have attempted to give them credibility, even though it was impossible to give them, on the back and to the detriment of the licensed taxi trade. Because if you enmesh licensed taxi drivers, and that includes me, in with rideshare that come in one end and hemorrhage out at the other, then you're sure as hell I'm going to be offended by a 50% increase in sexual assault crime that's happening with their working model, and you are trying to enmesh statistics to give them some kind of legitimacy here in London. One can only imagine that pockets go much deeper than investments rooted in black rock.